Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to episode 190 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is Barbara. Feels like we just did this 5 minutes ago.
We can't let people in on the secret. How are you today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Has the end of the year rush started yet?
Yes.
Yeah. When does it start? Like November 1st?
I don't know. I've got diagnostics coming out my ass right now. There's at least 30 in here. So I think, it's the calm before the storm because we do the diagnostics and then the cases come in and it's first week in November. So you can imagine what December is going to look like. And it's like nuts. I've never seen so many. I'm grateful, but I'm having a hard time juggling them all.
Well, the secret is when you do those diagnostics, don't do them so well so the patient will not accept treatment and you won't be so busy. Duh.
I know. We still hand do all of them.
Do you
so
really?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of them.
You haven't started milling white wax?
I mill white wax and I do hand wax. So I've got two waxers right now. One does all of it hand waxed, and now I've got another one that's prepping, and then we scan it, and then she designs it, and then we mill the wax, and then she puts it on. So I'm doing it both ways. I'm doing it both ways this episode.
Boing. Sounds confusing. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I mentioned, this is episode 190.
Oh, my God.
90. We are only 10 episodes away from the big 200. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you always believe it. Yeah. Every moment to you is a blessing.
Yes, it is.
So the question is what are we going to do for episode 200? What amazing guest do you think we should have on? I'd like to hear from people. I think it'd be interesting. If anybody has any idea who we should talk to on episode 200, drop us an email or reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook. It's a big number, 200. We're going to have a big-time guest. Episode 100 was Anton. So
awesome.
It's also official. One of our favorite meetings of the year is back to its usual time of the year. And it's back to its old city. Vegas. NADL's Vision 21. It was in Nashville this year. Did you go?
No.
No, I didn't either.
I was bummed.
Yeah, I really wanted to. It was just a bad time. Really wasn't ready to travel. But in 2022, it is back in Vegas at the Aria?
Yeah.
Aria, back at the Aria Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, January 20th to the 22nd. Now, this great meeting is usually geared towards more of the business side of our industry, but I always feel that it's one of the best networking events of the year.
Oh, yeah. Agree.
A lot of big names there. So COVID made the meeting move cities last year, but we're excited to get it back on track. So head over to NADL/events to see the amazing speaker lineup and to register. And remember, for many in the country, myself included, it is in the desert in the middle of winter.
That makes it a good place to go, y'all.
I'm hoping to warm up a little bit in January. So this week, we talked to the self-proclaimed Mr. Awesome of Instagram, Justin Gerard.
Great interview. It was fun. Super fun.
Justin is the co-owner of Colonial Dental Lab in Mechanicsville, Virginia. Now, Justin's pretty popular for telling it like it is, and he doesn't hold back during this conversation. Justin talks about getting into the industry, what it's really like being a removable technician, and other great gems from Mr. Awesome himself. So join us as we chat with Justin Gerard. Whitmix is very excited to announce the new Pro 4K large format 3D printer from Asiga. The open material printer for the 385NM and the 405NM resins features renowned Asiga reliability and super fast print mode for large batch printing of virtually all print resins. It's ideal for printing any kind of model, denture, splint, surgical guide, impression trays, and more. As it does with other Asiga printers, the Pro 4K features the SPS Smart Positioning System technology, which ensures that the build platform is in the correct position when forming each layer, providing accuracy and continuity. The Asiga 4K DLP printer is affordable, so you can own it for under $25,000. It has a large build plate and is available in both the 65 micron and the 46 micron resolution versions. For more information about the Asiga Pro 4K, visit whitmix.com or call Chris Frye at 513-680-1512. And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast, Whitmix. Voices from the Bench. The interview.
Yeah, just everybody's A2.
Yeah, she was like an A3 and wanted a BL4. Ugh.
Close enough.
I got a doctor like that never writes shades on the script, and every time I call him, he goes, "Oh, just put A2. Everybody's an A2."
Yeah. I used to have a doctor that everything was a shade, and then he wrote with a gray wash over everything. I was like, dude, you need to change your lights. Like, everything can't have a gray wash.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm removable, so it's one shade, and we're not going to get it wrong. If you want an A2, it's an A2. I'm not giving you an A3 with an A2 and Sisal, and this is you're thinking of the wrong department here, guy.
That happens quite a bit. Multiple shades on a denture tooth. I remember seeing that quite a bit. Well, awesome. Let's get started. We encourage cussing, because I know you'll do that.
I'm going to try not to. But... You can, please. I think this week's episode, I think he's got the record for the most bleeps as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
John Wilson?
Yeah. I
just finished his episode on the way to work this morning.
Yeah. If you could do better than calling yourself a motherfucker, that would... We'd like to welcome to the podcast, I'm going to say Instagram star... Mr. Awesome, misspelled. We'll get into that in a little bit. Justin Gerard. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's right, man.
Justin Gerard, how are you, sir?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be on the show. I've been listening to this podcast for a while now, and I love everything you and Barbara have done for the community. And, I love hearing everybody's backstory and where they've come from. You must be reaching for the bottom of the barrel if you're reaching out to me to get you on the show. So.
We've run out of everybody.
I know, right?
You definitely have a podcast voice, if I must say so myself. I like it.
Well, it's usually even more loud and obnoxious than this. But I spent the weekend out with some buddies, hooting and hollering and drinking beer, and smoked a couple cartons of cigarettes, and I had no voice on Sunday, so it's finally just now starting to come back.
All right. All of which I enjoy, just saying.
Oh, yeah. It was a good time.
Hooting and hollering, Fireball, wine, cigarettes, Motley Crue, which obviously nobody knows anymore. Elvis.
I've heard of them now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, Justin, long-time listener, first-time guest. Let's get into your backstory. How did you end up in dental technology?
Oh, it really goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I had a dentist come and visit it was either second or third grade class, Dr. Michael Hanley, who, funny enough, is a doctor I work for today.
Wow.
Seriously, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So he just came to our class to teach everyone about dentistry. And he had all these cool models and molds of teeth and people's mouths, and it really just fascinated me. And ever since that point, I was just really interested in dentistry, and I actually wanted to become a dentist to start with. So no history or no family background in dentistry, nothing like that. Let's see, about my sophomore year in high school, there was a Chesterfield Tech Center program for dental assistant. And I decided to take that just to learn terminology and get my foot in the door. And, well, that's what I found out about dental lab technology was through that program. Didn't even know they existed, It was all behind-the-scenes stuff.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, that really caught my attention. So I asked my teacher if, when it came time to do our externship, instead of going and working as a dental assistant for a dentist, I could instead go work in a lab. So
Wow.
she agreed, said that it still followed the same curriculum. And I went to work for Mike Gallagher, owned DRS Dental Lab here in Mechanicsville. And I worked for him my sophomore and senior year in high school. And I got more interested in dental lab technology than becoming a dentist in general. So, and then going to school for 8 years, that was really, yeah.
Wait.
Hey, I'm already working now. I'm making money now. Or go to school for another 8 years and then start making money. So that kind of went to the wayside there. And I just kept working in the lab. And I loved it. I loved working with my hands. I loved the craftsmanship involved. And from there, I went to J. Sargent Reynolds here in Richmond. Had a good 2-year program in the lab field. So I took that and ended up getting a job at Goodwin Dental Lab, which at the time was really one of the bigger labs in Central Virginia, and family-owned business, maybe about 30 employees altogether there.
So what did you do?
Removable. So I've always
Okay.
been a removable tech. Crown and bridge never interested me. It was just always too small, too tedious. I'm half colorblind to start with, so shade matching and anything that building all those internal characteristics involved in custom anterior shading was just never appealed to me. So removable is always like I don't know, like the redheaded stepchild to the lab industry. And that, I mean, it's like the equipment, everything's more like working in a garage. The atmosphere is like working in a garage. I
Totally.
feel like you've got to be a lot more mechanically inclined, and that really just suited me a lot better. So I fell right along with removable right from the start, and I've been doing that ever since.
So you were a sophomore in high school and you went to work. Is that where he started you?
Yeah, so I started in the removable department, didn't really know anything about crown and bridge. So, I mean, that might have something to do with it too, just because I did start in removable and not the fixed side. But
Yeah.
either way, I quickly learned that the crown and bridge was not for me anyways.
Yeah.
Even my lab, our building today, if you walk over to the removable side, it's like working it, and it's a workshop, and I like it
Oh
that
God,
way.
yes.
It's dirty, it's dusty, it's dingy, it's loud, and it looks like a workshop, a garage type atmosphere. And then you walk out the door over to my partner's side of the building, it looks like an art studio beauty salon over there. Everything's clean and glistening, and they've got all the fancy equipment over there with I don't know, man, they're playing music, and there's blue lights, and it's bing bonging all over the place. And then you come over here, and we've got I got a ladle with a hole in it and a turkey roaster. No, I'm just kidding. We've upgraded since then.
Floor's a little dirty on your side compared to theirs.
Oh, good God, yeah. Let's see here. So when I was going through the program at J-Sarge, that's where I actually met my partner, who runs the Crown and Bridge side of the business. And we went to school together. Real cool guy. Couldn't ask for a better partner.
So you guys were in your early 20s when you guys met, right?
Yeah, so that was in 98 to 2000. We graduated, he left, and he actually, he started this company actually right out of school, Colonial Dental
Wow.
Lab. And went for years. About 12 years later, he showed up at Goodwin, the lab I was working at, and just ran into me happenstance working there. He had just brought one of his buddies over from Egypt to try and expand his business, which was really just still a one-man lab. He had got sick of it, got tired of it. It's just no way to live your life,
Yeah.
in my opinion, in this field, working by yourself. And he asked if I was interested in partnering up with him and starting a full service lab. And I was like, yeah, like, get me out of here. Let's go. And
Wow.
so from there, he had the building we're in now was just either one or two rooms. He had brought in a couple more kids from the program at J Sarge. And shoot, we've grown since then into we're like one of them in between labs. We got about 25 employees. I got 7 guys in my department that work with me in removable. and then he's got his crew of yuppie Crown and Bridge technicians over there. And we're doing really good now. We really were blessed.
So he was a one-man lab. So he got you to come over, and then you guys built it from there. So did you go out and sell? Did you go to doctor's offices?
Yeah, and I mean, that really was the hardest part about everything. It's just getting your foot in the door.
Yeah.
So it was, and I was still moonlighting over here, working my day job at the other lab, all hours of the night, and then having to go out and try and get these doctors to send you something is it's something else. And no matter what, the first thing everybody wants to do is just undercut everybody's prices, be the cheapest guy in town just to get something in. And I told myself there's no way I was going to do that.
Yep.
So that makes it even harder when, you price your products correctly and you stick to it. I've never been one to negotiate. But, I know my quality. I know the type of product we put out, and I'm going to stick to it. So
you were talking about the fact that you weren't going to let anybody undercut your prices, which is amazing. So as you were getting these new clients, what I always find is that you either have a removable lab or you have a Crown and Bridge lab, and they've got 2 or 3 labs, but you guys have Crown and Bridge and removable, so they can get the best of both worlds. So you guys both worked on the same clients. Is that right?
Yeah, that does make everything a lot more appealing, and it makes the whole process way easier working on these big combo cases when you've got the 2 departments working together side by side like that.
Oh yeah.
Because God, I mean, there's nothing worse than getting a precision attachment case made in another fixed lab sent over to you where they don't have to deal with the removable side, and all of a sudden you got an ERA. And then the opposing cusp is banging right down on top of that attachment, and you're just sitting here like, God, there's another nightmare waiting to happen.
Total nightmare. Been there, done that many times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, removables is tough.
It's tough, but well, I don't know. I hear everyone say I love the challenge. I enjoy a good challenge, but I tell you what, I'm sick of the challenges. Just send me all the easy work. I want the bread and butter work, which we don't get anymore. Well, we still do, but I've kind of become more known as an implant and bar specialist. That's the kind of stuff we get, and we do a lot of it. But man, it has just become it's a pain.
Yeah.
I love doing it, but man, hey Doc, send me some of that easy work too.
There you go. Offset the hard stuff every now and again. So do you actually go out and do conversions and everything?
No, I get asked that a lot. And I mean, it's still something I'm thinking about doing here in the future, but I'm still stuck at the bench too much right now. We're at that point where we're just getting ready to kind of tip the curve and get over that hill where I need to bring on a good high-end technician who can handle a lot of the work that I do at the bench now, so I can get out and do more things like that, or at least sit down and focus more on the big higher end, more technically involved implant cases. But yeah, I mean, that's what I need to focus on. I need to get away from the bench.
Yeah.
Focus more on the business side.
Yeah, a lot of owners need to do that, and it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, we talk to people all the time. It's one of the hardest parts of growing a lab is just getting off the bench.
Yeah, and it really is. The old saying, it's definitely true. If you're not growing, you're dying, and you never feel comfortable. You're either too slow or you're way too busy.
Yeah, agree.
And lately, it's been, I mean, just slammed balls to the walls with work, which is great until you got to figure out how to get all this work done.
Yeah. So you're doing a lot of implants too. So where the heck did you get your training on that? Or do you have a tech that specializes in implants also?
Well, yeah, a lot of my guys do some of the implant work. I still had most of it all up.
Wow.
And most of the training I got was really from the lab I worked at before I started my own business. Old Joe Goodwin from Goodwin Dental Lab.
I know them. Yep.
Do you really? He was a great guy. I always referred to him as the godfather of dental lab technology. He was a dying breed of techs that, when I left, he was in his late 80s. I always thought he was just going to end up dying right there, keeling over right at his bench.
Yep.
And he still wore a suit and tie to work every single day. He had his, he was certified in, I guess then it was still just either 4 or 5 categories
Wow.
of certification. Yeah, he was certified in all of them. And he would let me do whatever I wanted. I mean, if which was a great learning experience. If I wanted to get away from waxing and start setting teeth, go for it. And they did a lot of implant work there, so I got a lot of my experience through Joe over at Goodwin. Really, I owe a lot of my career to him. I've got a lot of respect for him. It was, a real sad day when I heard he had passed away.
Yeah.
I actually had a chance to buy that lab after I left and started my own business, but there was just a lot of negotiating back and forth, and it didn't end up working out. But he was a great guy. He actually stood up on me one day when he found, because I did a lot of moonlight when I was working there, working for just labs all over RVA. And he had found out somehow through the grapevine. And this 5-year-old man comes walking up to me while I'm sitting at the bench. And he goes, I heard you're out working, working for so-and-so. And he goes, you're my technician and you don't work for the competition. And he comes walking over with his fist balled up. And I had to stand up. I thought he was going to punch me. I'm like, Joe, are you going to hit me?
And then what? You got to finish that. So what the hell happened?
It was just a big old argument right there in the lab, which that happened all the time. It's me saying, Joe, what I do on my own time is my own business. I've just had a baby at the time and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Anyways, he ended up apologizing to me later on.
Did you quit the moonlighting job?
No, still didn't quit. But, man, when I had to go to that old guy and tell him that I was leaving his lab to start my own company, that was one of the hardest things I think I've ever had to do in my entire life, was to go up in his office and tell him that, because he was a hard-nosed old man. And I was scared to death he was going to try and beat the out of me right there in his office.
A lot of violence in this lab.
Yeah, kind of.
That was still one of the craziest places I've ever worked. All family owned, ton of family that worked there. So you've got all the family bickering back and forth, and the internal family disagreements and arguments. And every other day, it felt like there was a fist fight getting ready to go down in that place.
Kept you on your toes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So did he give you his blessing when you said you're starting your own lab, or what?
He actually did. So I remember telling him, Joe, and I'd been there for about 15 years, and I told him, I'm going out, I'm putting my 2 weeks in, I'm going to start my own company, start my own lab. If you need more than 2 weeks, I'll give it to you. I'll do whatever you want to, I didn't want to just leave him, because I had a lot of responsibility there and they relied on me a lot. And he said, well, I knew this day was going to come sooner or later. And he commended me on everything I had learned and my accomplishments while I had been there. And he goes, well, do you have anybody in mind as far as any of my doctors or accounts you're going to go after? I looked at him and I was like, all of them. Yeah, all of them. And he goes, good, you should.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Crazy.
He was a cool old guy.
You can have him.
I mean, he was old, set in his ways. And that was one thing when I left that I did not want to follow in that mindset or that mind frame either. He was one of these old guys that did not want to pick up or get into the new digital era that was coming up. And he got burnt on a lot of stuff too, with Procera and just a lot of closed source systems. And so he was real hesitant to stay up with the new coming of age technology that's coming out. And that really is what ended up doing him in the end, that lab. So I try my best to keep up with all the printing and the digital world. It is such a pain in the butt too, because I mean I'm still old school in a lot of my ways as far as techniques and materials.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so you are a little bit old school and analog and digital. How are you incorporating that now in your lab?
We got a couple of 3D printers. And, of course, we do a ton of milling. I don't handle much of the milling. That's all done over there on the Crown and Bridge side.
Sure, yeah.
But, there's some aspects of it that I still want to get into.
Are you designing like the bars and stuff yourself?
Oh, yeah. We don't mill any of the bars here. Actually, the mill we have is capable of it. But
Not a lot of folks do.
But we design everything. We've got 3-shape throughout the whole building. I guess the biggest innovation that's really helped me out, at least, is going from the analog waxing of cast partial frameworks to scanning all the model work and then designing all those with 3-shape and then printing them out and then casting them.
Sweet.
So yeah, use 3-shape to do all of my designing. We print them. And then I still go back to the old school cast torch with the wind-up centrifugal casting machine to cast them all.
And I bet they fit damn good, don't they?
Oh yeah, I know. That was I was spoiled before I started this business with a good old induction casting machine, and cast them all that way. Of course, when we started this company, didn't have money to just go out and buy a $30,000 casting machine at the time, so I had to learn how to do all that and go back to the old torch. But I tell you what, since I've gone back to the torch, my castings have come out so much better,
Cleaner,
cleaner, more accurate than they were when I was using that old induction casting machine.
Yeah.
You just have a lot more control over the heat with that torch.
Yep.
But there's definitely a much larger learning curve to cast, and especially big frameworks that way. So it's harder to teach other techs to do that, but that's still what I prefer to do now. I love it.
Are you the only one that does cast frames there?
Yeah, right now.
I was going to say, how do you going to teach somebody? It's a dying art.
It is. And you almost have to teach everybody that technique or that part of the field right from the get-go, because nobody wants to do it anymore. I hate doing it. I wish cast frames would just go away and something else would come to take their place. But everything, nothing's really come to fruition yet, in my opinion. We've done.
If you have tried.
Well, yeah, I've had some sent off and had them 3D printed, and they just come back so rough looking, and the metal is brittle. That the clasps are nowhere near as flexible.
Yeah,
I still think casting them is the way to go. There's pectin, there's all kinds of different materials coming out for frames, but nothing is as rigid as chrome cobalt is, and I'm still a cast chrome cobalt man at heart.
Yep.
You ever do them for other labs?
No, I will not do frames for another lab. I hate doing it for myself.
You're not opening that floodgate, are you? Because I was going to say, you'd be bombarded if you said yes.
No, I don't work for other labs. I'll do some. I'll help some of my buddies out here and there. I think I did a case for Gary Archer, processed some flexible stuff for him when his flexible guy he fell off a ladder and broke his back. I don't know. Something happened to that guy bad for a while. But
was it for a movie?
No, this wasn't for a movie. This was just for one. I know. I'd love to get into that stuff, man. No, hell no.
Hell no, you don't work for labs.
Labs, I'm a lab. So when I send something off, with the very few things we do outsource every once in a while here and there, I got to make money off of it. I'm a businessman, so it's got to be for a certain dollar amount.
Yep.
Labs always want things cheaper than what you sell to their doctors, and to me, I'm still doing the same amount of work, and I'm going to charge the same amount, the same price. So, there's no discounts given out here and there unless it's a friend-to-friend basis. But
good for you. Keep it that way too. Just saying. So, what's up with your Mr. Awesome on Instagram?
Oh, that goes back to, I was watching an old documentary. It was an old Donkey Kong documentary. It was called Donkey Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Anyways, there's this crazy Donkey Kong world champion player on there. I think he went by the name of Captain Awesome. And I don't know. I just liked it. And so I figured I'd make my Instagram Mr. Awesome. And then somebody already had, Mr. Awesome with one W. So I had to put the other one in there to get it accepted. But Yeah, I don't know. That's just me being an idiot, really.
Did not expect a Donkey Kong reference. That came out of nowhere.
Cool.
It's a good documentary, man. Check it
I think
out.
I've seen it, actually.
I used to play Donkey Kong every single day before school. I go to the Pickwick and play Donkey Kong. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, I loved the old quarter arcades. I got an Atari shirt on right now, actually, that I'm wearing at the lab.
Nice.
Awesome.
So when you started your Instagram, was it meant for dental, or was it a personal that became a dental?
Yeah, it was a personal that became a dental. I actually had no clue that there was such a huge dental lab
I know.
community on Instagram, and just kind of ran into it by happenstance, and just kind of switched everything over from just a personal Instagram to more of a dental related one with a vulgar twist to it, I guess.
Vulgar twist. I love it.
Yeah.
I will say it's entertaining, mildly inappropriate, but a lot of fun. And that's what Instagram should be about.
Well, I mean, I can only be so serious. And I try to have fun with everything I do, and sometimes I have no filter. Things just come to my mind, and I post it. And then later on, sometimes I'm like, good God, if my doctors ever start following me, which some of them do.
That was going to be a question I had for you.
I've actually gotten some work from that account, though.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, if you ever follow doctor groups, they can be just as inappropriate as lab people, so...
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, sometimes I'll post something on there and all of a sudden I lose, 100 followers, but whatever. There's enough serious accounts out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being serious and all haughty-taughty and uppity about, your work and what you post, but I've never been that way. I probably never will be that way. Like I said, I like to have fun. I like making people laugh at my own expense. Don't judge me.
Never.
Well, to be honest, it's unique, and that's what got Barb's and I attention. And that's what really draws us to say, I got to find out this guy's story.
My story is, I drink a lot of beer and I smoke a lot of cigarettes, and I'm drinking one right now. There's no way I was going to come on this without at least having
Can I say what time it is?
Yeah. It's 11:30. Hey, I don't do this every day. This is special occasion. This is special occasion beer
on a Wednesday
for Barb and Elvis while I'm on the show.
I think it's brilliant. Personally, we should all be having a beer at work at 11:30 every damn day, especially this week. Oh my God, it's a full moon. Full moons, y'all. It's a freaking orange moon, crazy day.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy atmosphere in here right now. If it can go wrong during a week where we've got a big event coming up, we're taking a couple of my guys down to Lab Day East this weekend.
Wow,
and
nice.
We're going to take the train up to Philly, so we're closed Friday. So we've got a ton of work to get in. And, I mean, that's when all of a sudden all the rush cases come in and the onslaught of work from doctors comes in. And, I mean, it's the holidays. Everyone's breaking teeth. The repairs are coming in left and right. I don't know what happens come around October, November. I feel like everyone just starts chewing on nuts and bolts and
It's called stress of the holiday.
And are just breaking teeth off left and right and want to salvage every single little thing they can with their partial.
Oh.
The medieval torture mouth devices start coming in where, they're Franken dentures and they've had 10 additions to them and they've got to hold on to this partial that's 20 years old and get it fixed. And good God, I don't know how some of these people keep these things in their mouths.
Do you do anything crazy for Halloween? Do you make awesome denture or something cool for yourself?
I used to do a lot of that stuff. I made the fangs and the grills, and lately I just have not had time to mess with anything like that. But I've done a lot of it in the past. I'll usually carve some kind of really weird, crazy, inappropriate jack-o'-lantern every year and stick it out.
That's what we did last night. Yep. I love Halloween.
Yeah, so we're busy, and then everyone's dying lately too. does anybody have any grandmas and grandpas left? Because I don't think there's any left here at the lab. It's sad, but geez, man, it's always at the absolute worst time.
You mean when employees
Oh,
need to, like,
yeah,
take
I've
time
had
off?
somebody out for...
I was wondering where you were going with this dying.
Yeah, there's always somebody out lately. So this week I got a guy out. Had a guy out a couple weeks ago. He was out for 3 weeks. He's from Mexico. His uncle was killed by the cartel down in Mexico. You can't make this stuff up. Actually, no, it ended up not being the cartel. It was the Navajo Mafia, if you've ever heard of anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Who knew they existed? But
great, now they're going to hear the podcast, and we're going to be on a list. Thanks, man.
Just been put on someone's to kill list.
Yeah.
Yowzer.
So you're taking everybody down to Lab Day East. Is there anything that you're super interested in? Elvis, you're going to be there too, right?
Yeah, so we'll...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to go meet Elvis face to face.
Prepared to be disappointed.
You know, Lab Day East it's definitely a smaller event. There's not a whole lot of good courses down there. I don't think this year, but there's a few good implant seminars that I want to take the guys to, so that they can see someone else's point of view other than mine. But mostly, I just want to go down there and have fun, man. I've never been to Philly. Take the train, Amtrak up there, and hit up the bars. Take some classes and walk around the exhibition floor Saturday and really just have a good time. Take some of these guys that work hard for me and we'll go down there and splurge, man.
And that's what I miss about meetings too. It's not only the meeting, but, hanging out, going to a different town, going out, seeing people you haven't seen in a while, learning stuff as well. But yeah, we had a good time when we went there, Elvis, a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, that was when we went to the opera singing restaurant, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's
the
right.
opera singing restaurant? That just sounds like a complete nightmare to me. I'll be sure
It actually
to stay
was
away from that.
It was unique.
Bar.
It was unique.
I mean, I got to at least go find the Rocky statue and get a couple pictures.
Oh, hell
of
yeah.
Rocky.
There you go. I hear there's a really good retro arcade out there, too, so that might be right up your Donkey Kong alley.
Barcades are making a huge comeback. So we got a couple here in Richmond, the self-serving beer barcades. Yeah, I definitely frequent them.
I bet.
Wow.
So what's Colonial working on next? What are you looking to do? What's coming up?
The next big thing, really, I'm probably behind on this, but is the 3D printing night guards. That's what I really want to start doing. We've got all the modules for 3Shape.
You said you had 3D printers.
Yep, we got the 3D printers. I just got to find the time to start messing around with that software and get those designed all digitally and start printing them out. We use Clear Splint by Astron right now for all our night guards, and I love that material. But still, even pouring them, it's a long, drawn-out process. And I think Keystone's got a really good material out, that Keysoft Splint. So I've got the Sprint Ray Pro 95, and I really want to start printing those. But right now, it's just finding the time to sit down, learn the module, and get it done. And then, I got to learn it first, then I got to teach somebody else. So.
Well, you say you're looking to hire.
Yep,
bring
and that's
people in. How's that going? Real easy?
No, man. God, for one thing, it's hard to find help in general. Nobody wants to work. Everyone's sitting at home collecting unemployment, and all the good technicians, they've got a job. So finding a high-end technician that can really do everything from start to finish and has a good knowledge of implant work it's not easy. And then they command top dollar too, as they should. So that is probably the next big step for us, and we're right on the cusp of being able to achieve that. But as soon, it always happens, as soon as you're ready to pull the trigger on it, all of a sudden things slow down, and then you're like, I don't know if it's the right time yet. But it's never the right time. Anytime I've ever finally decided to grow and expand, it's something that you just end up doing, and then you make it work. And we've been real blessed with good doctors continuing to come on and come on board and partner up with us and grow the business, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
Do you guys have a sales force?
We have had a couple of sales reps in the past work for us. We're still trying to figure that whole avenue out.
Yeah.
You know, we've been in business as a full service lab for 9 years now. It'll be 10 years next year, and there's still, I consider it still to be a young business, and there's a lot that we're still striving to learn and master ourselves. So bringing on a marketing rep full time is definitely an avenue we're seeking.
Yeah.
That there's a whole nother set of issues involved with that position that hopefully will get figured out here soon.
Yeah, that's a position I'm not too crazy about. I was just curious. We've got several people
Well,
there.
I hate doing it too, man. God.
Yeah.
But really, right now, we haven't had to do a whole lot of marketing. We've just been flooded with new accounts, new doctors, word of mouth. We do a
Word
lot
of mouth.
word of
Yep.
mouth has still been our biggest draw over everything.
That's the best way to market, to be honest with you.
Well,
And
it's a good way to market. You can't rely on that, but it does do that. A couple of marketing reps that we've had in the past, they've come through. We'll get a huge influx of work, but it's everyone and anyone,
Yes, exactly.
and then you're stuck with a bunch of just shit work and shit doctors that you end up losing in the long run because they're just too much of a headache. So
Yeah.
right now, I mean, we're at a point where we can pick and choose who we want to work with and who we want to partner with, and it's working out. So
Nice.
Awesome.
What's your opinion on 3D printed denture? I have a feeling you have a strong opinion about
yeah,
it.
no, I would never ever. The 3D printed dentures definitely have their place in this field, but as far as the quality and the craftsmanship and the personalization of them and the longevity of them, to me, they're still just a temporary or a lower quality interim denture. And we run into problems with them all the time as far as we got some dentists that use them and we'll get relines and, acrylic doesn't want to bond to that plastic. Teeth are all one shade. There's a bunch of different ways they can be printed and milled, but to me, it's still just a stepping stone to a permanent, more handmade, more handcrafted appliance.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up. If you get a denture that was printed or milled to do a repair or to do a reline, do you have to know the resin that was used or how it was done? Or is it just like, I'm going to hope this sticks?
I don't know why they send them to us to get relined in the first place, because they should just be sending it back to whoever they got it made with, because they can just take an impression in that 3D printed denture and they should be able to just 3D print out a new one.
One would think.
But yeah, one would think. But yeah, there's so many different resins out there and they're all different, and some of them mesh a lot better with acrylic than others. And the dentist is not going to know. They'll never be able to tell you that information. I'm not even going to ask them, but
Sure.
most of the time, acrylic and the 3D printed resins don't work well together. And we end up just rebasing it and reprocessing it all out of acrylic, because whatever we do to try to reline it just ends up peeling right out of the inside of the denture.
So you end up replacing all the resin with acrylic anyways.
Exactly. And then it's not a digital 3D
No,
denture
it's not.
anymore anyway. But I'm excited about the way that the industry's headed with 3D printing and milling. I definitely don't think it's there yet. We've got the capability and the means to do it, but not for any type of a higher end, personalized, long-term appliance. For an economical, money-saving denture, then yeah, I think they're great. At least as far as where we're at right now.
That's a really popular question that we ask on the podcast. Definitely to removable technicians, which way do you see it? Where do you see it? Is it here? Is it there? And I would say, Elvis, you'd probably agree, probably over 85, 90% of removable techs feel the same way you do, Justin.
Well, then too, I mean, when you're printing out these try-in dentures, they're usually all one color, everything's one piece, and you send it to the dot. Most removable dentists or doctors sending you removable work, on especially like a full upper, lower, fully edentulous patient, they're not going to get the bite right on the first try. Shoot, sometimes not until like not even after 8 or 9 try-ins are they not getting it right.
Yeah.
And then there's no way to adjust anything in the mouth. It's all one piece.
Yeah.
And then you're not seeing the real shade of the teeth. I mean, we do so many shade changes here. It's ridiculous.
On denture teeth?
Yes. I don't know how or why. And I'm full upper lower dentures too. Every time I get a case in for a full upper lower denture and they give me a shade like a C3, I know right off the bat that this thing is gonna be a shade change. Who wants some dark shade for a full upper lower like that? And
that's weird.
And it still just blows my mind how you're getting shades wrong like this not so much on a full upper lower, but just a wrong shade in general in removable on a full denture. When you've got a shade guy, we're not the ones taking the shade. If you give us a shade, that's what you're going to get. So I don't know. It's just so frustrating. And the midline changes. Move this midline over 0.5 millimeter. Like, you can look at anybody in the face and tell a midline is off by 0.5 millimeter. I just take those and seal them right down and send them back. Oh, it looked great, man. I know that 0.5 millimeter made a huge difference.
Just have them turn their head 0.5 millimeter. Do you get a lot of doctors that actually adjust the teeth in a wax try-in?
Yeah, we do
really?
do that. We do. I've got a lot of dentists that do that, and it helps us out a lot. I mean, to make these little quick and easy twist turns that the patient might want, just do it right there while you got the patient in the chair. You've got the patient. I've got an articulator with a set of teeth on it. I don't have the personality behind it. I don't have any of that. So, it helps us a lot if they can just do easy things like that in the mouth. Well, we do have the ones that will not lift a finger to do anything at all. And then they keep you guessing or send you pictures. I love opening up an email or a doctor will tell me they sent pictures. Please go refer to these pictures. Open the email up and it's just a close-in, zoomed-in picture of some woman's mustache and nose hairs, This ain't helping me out none.
So
I got
true.
one where it was just a lady laying on the floor playing checkers the other day. What? Where are these pictures coming from? They're not smiling. You can't see their teeth at all. Who is sending this stuff?
That's great.
I love the celebrity pictures too, where
I was gonna ask that. You ever get magazine photos?
Yeah, magazine photos of anyone. Hey, make me look like Madonna.
Yeah.
Just any celebrity, and it's like, man, I hate to tell you, but you look like Sloth from the Goonies. There ain't nothing that I can make in this set of teeth that is gonna help you win any beauty contest.
Yep, we get those too. Exactly.
I love too when they send you with the scripts. They send these pictures, and they're like, patients extremely concerned with aesthetics. They're extremely aesthetic driven. That patient doesn't want any metal showing on. No metal class in the anterior. And I'm looking at it, it's like their teeth look like hands folded in prayer. And this guy's aesthetically driven? Come on. Give me a break. These clear clasps on the only 2 canines left in their mouth that are
that's true.
Looking east and west. It's not going to get them on Star Search.
Mm-hmm. I definitely tell it like it is. That's for sure.
Well, Justin, awesome to get to finally talk to you.
Yeah, man. You too, Elvis. I look forward to seeing you here in the next couple of days. And you too, Barbara. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.
I guess after this airs, it'll be, I don't know. It's kind of like getting some weird Back to the Future vibes going on right now. It's it'll be after the event this coming weekend, but yeah, well, I'll be seeking you out. Maybe I'll be wearing my Voices from the Bench T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll be at the Preet booth in case you haven't heard that 20 times already.
Yeah, no, I've heard it.
Well, we encourage everyone, check out, if you're on Instagram and you're not easily offended, Mr. Awesome, that's MRAWWESOME. Mr. Awesome. It's great stuff. It's entertaining. I love what you're doing. Keep doing it, man. It's fun.
Yep.
I will. I love doing it too. It keeps me occupied, and I like laughing at myself, if anything. So
You still wearing suspenders?
I got them on right now. Hear that?
That's awesome. I'm
There
looking
you
at
go.
your Instagram post right now with the suspenders. It's great.
Hey, I'm a suspenders man now.
Yeah.
Yes. That was quite an
It's
epic
good.
change for all of us in Instagram world.
I'm already one step away from the straight jacket, so might as well start with the baby straps first. Feels like I'm
Wow.
constantly being hugged all day long. I like it.
I figured you were looking to, gain 600 pounds, so you're just giving up on the belt right now and just...
I don't think so. I saw his back. He's not gaining weight. He's got lots of muscles.
It's all the stress and the smoking.
Awesome, Justin. Appreciate it. We'll see you in a
Thank
couple
you.
days, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Elvis and Barbara.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yeah, man.
Bye. Grow3X is a dental supply, service, and marketing company. It was founded by Norbert Ulmer, and his goal with Grow3X is to help dental labs, and especially small labs, to lower their costs for supplies, provide business opportunities, and generate growth.
Anybody can work with Grow3X and buy from them at very attractive prices. They carry amazing zirconia burrs, and their rainbow burrs are for PMMA and Trilor are top notch. They also carry zirconia from Adite and a wide range of Harvest dental products and different 3D print resins.
What's really cool about Grow3X is that you can join their Grow3X family program for only 99 cents.
What?
I know!
It's amazing.
It's cheaper than the dollar store.
Hell yeah.
This will then give you an additional 10% discount on all of their supplies and even their CAD/CAM design and fabrication services.
You got to try it. They really want to help labs save and grow as they know how hard it is competing with the large groups. And by the way, did you guys know that Norbert from Grow3X used to have his own lab some 10 years ago? So he really does know what labs need.
Get a 3-month trial membership with Grow3X Family now for only 99 cents and receive 3 Shade Peg shots free of charge.
Shade Peg is a great stump shade material to better match even the most difficult shades. So if you're doing all ceramics, Shade Peg is where it's at.
So go over to grow3x.com and add the Grow3X family to your cart. Then add 3 Shade Peg shots of 3cc each to your cart, and then go to checkout. But first, before you buy, enter the discount code VFTB for Voices from the Bench, and then you check out. Boom! It's that easy. We appreciate your support of the podcast, Grow3X.
So guys, have you seen the high prices of precious metal these days? They are close to record highs on gold and palladium.
We know that you are using less precious metals in your lab these days, but if you send in half of what you sent in 5 years ago, your scrap return will be higher than it was 5 years ago.
Because of the high PM prices, you owe it to yourself to find a trusted, reputable refining company. Look no further. Colzer Refining has been tested, trusted, and reputable for over 100 years.
They burn, melt, and assay all under one roof at their state-of-the-art refining facility in Wartburg, Tennessee.
They have doubled their production capacity to ensure your scrap return within 2 weeks. They use an ICP for their assay technique with the fire assay method if needed as well.
With all the non-precious material that has become present in today's restorations, it is important that we ensure the assay sample is homogeneous.
At Colzer, they take the extra step to x-ray the top and the bottom after they melt the bar to make sure the precious metal percentages are the same. If not, copper is added until they are positive and the bar is homogeneous. They know that this step is very important to get a precise assay result.
Their reimbursement to the customer is after their 10% refining fee. They have 0 additional fees. If you need any free shipping containers, which contain a UPS prepaid, fully insured label, please visit mydental360.com/refining
or call the Director of Precious Metal Refining, our friend Tony Cercelli, directly at 914-906-1843.
So collect those vacuum bags, floor sweeps, miscast and spills, and get the best scrap return in the industry with Colzar Refining.
Tested, trusted, and honest.
And we appreciate your support of the podcast, Colzar.
Thank you, Justin, for joining us on the podcast. That was a really great interview. Super great. I really enjoy how you tell it like it is. That's kind of how I roll, and you don't hold back. As long as you don't mind being slightly offended, but still enjoy a good laugh, go follow him on Mr. Awesome with 2 W's on Instagram. But just let me say, we're warning you. Or don't say we didn't warn you, because we did.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. We'll talk to you next week. Bye. It's been a whole week. It's been so long.
I know.